Now let's get straight to CBS News New York. They're reporting about this. Someone there on top of this is the Empire State Building. Let's listen in.
This came into our newsroom just about 12 o'clock is when we got our first indication that this was happening. And as you can see, they're still atop of the antenna. I want to go back down to the observation decks. Now, earlier we were looking down in that area to see if there were any indications of police response, security response, also to indicate whether there was anybody being evacuated from the observation decks. And going down to some of the lower tiers of the roof, we can still see some people out there. It's again unclear whether they are being evacuated, whether people are still being permitted out onto the observation decks. It does appear people are still permitted outside. So going back up to the top of the antenna, those two people are still out there. They've climbed to the very top. We were talking earlier, this is something in the neighborhood of about 1,300 feet. I don't have the exact height on the top of the antenna, but that is the general height that we're talking about where these people are. Cindy?
Left you before, one of the people had been climbing down, as you were saying, and our hope was that they were both going to be climbing down to safety. What did the person do when they went down a little bit?
It was difficult for us to see. I can take you down to that lower platform. There is something on there, possibly a bag. I don't want to say that it is, but we did see them kind of reach down towards the ground. They were there for a few seconds, and then they started making their way back up to the top.
I know we've been trying to get an idea of what their banner says. Did you get it? I see the word love on there, but that's about all I can see.
Yeah, with the wind blowing the banner, I've been able to make out the words love and peace. Unfortunately, with the wind blowing the banner and just due to the nature of the heat today, we have to orbit as opposed to hovering like we would normally do. So it's been difficult to make out the exact words, but we are seeing the words love and peace on there.
And Jim, it's hard to see, but it looks like one of the people may be a woman. And I mean, do they have something over their heads?
That is what it appears, that they may be wearing a mask. Again, it's very difficult for us to distinguish that, whether they are man or woman, what each of them are. And again, it does appear that there is something over their faces, possibly a mask. From our vantage point, it could also be a hat, but it's just very difficult to tell from our altitude and distance.
You know, this is really frightening to see. And as we were talking, you know, our top story today is the heat wave, how it could get up to 100 degrees. And you can only imagine what it feels like up there.
That is right. That they would definitely be exposed to direct heat, no shade at all. Obviously, at this height, nothing to shade them. And also, you have to keep in mind that all of the spire, the antenna, the metal that makes up it, and the other materials would also be hot, just sitting in the sun all day, exposed to that direct sunlight. Just going to go back down again to some of the lower portions of the building just to get an indication of whether any security or police personnel.
All right, so you've been listening to reporting there from CBS News New York, and what you're seeing is two.
Jim, the shots you're showing us right now are so frightening to see those two people right at the top like that.
That is right, Cindy. We are talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,300 feet off the ground. I don't have the exact height of the top of that spire, but again, this is at the very top of the antenna. I'm just going to quickly go down and look at some of the lower areas to see if we are getting an indication of a response by security or the NYPD at this time. Again, this is an area not accessible by the public. It's an area that's typically highly restricted. There would normally be technicians that would be permitted up here to work on equipment that is up here, but it is not open to the general public.
And it really looks, I mean, it's so high up there, it's going to take a while for, I mean, rescue crews or somebody to get up there. And in addition, we've been talking about this heat wave. Can you imagine what it feels? Oh, it looks like they're, I hope he's just climbing down. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. We're seeing one of the people start to climb down. We don't know if they're making their way actually off of the spire at this time or doing something else. It does appear they are starting to lower themselves. There's still the other person at the top of the spire. And we're just watching to see what happens as they make their way down.
All right, Jim.
And again, this is all happening. Yes.
No, I was just going to say I'm so glad they're coming down now. Hopefully they'll both get down safely, and then they're going to have to deal with the officials. Jim, thank you very much.
That.
All right, we'll be right back.